trying to think about what to talk about, because the way that I got to meet Ann is through immigration. And it was quite by accident. I think she wandered in when I was a freshman in Congress, and I wasn't on the relevant committee, but my best friend was. Trey Gowdy is my best friend from South Carolina, and he was on the immigration subcommittee on the Judiciary Committee. And I had a little soft spot in my heart for the home country anyway, so I talked to Ann, and it turns out that what y'all were asking for was not at all unreasonable. So she and I ended up working for the last 5 or 6 years on immigration. Didn't make much progress. Didn't make any progress with the last administration. But I'm cautiously optimistic about what the next couple of years will hold. We've not formulated any official immigration policy, so please don't take this to be an official statement of policy by any stretch of the imagination. But I do know that we have started to talk privately within the West Wing, at least, about adding a merit component to our immigration system. Why we don't have one is a long and tortured history of this country. But if we were to even introduce a small component into that, I cannot help but think that Ireland would be a tremendous beneficiary of that. The number of legal immigrants that we accept from Ireland every single year would embarrass people. I think last year the allotment outside of the special programs was less than 100. It's a disturbingly low number, and I do hope to be able to make progress on that. And I'm hopeful that we can get the president over to Ireland and sort of get that on his agenda. But I didn't want to talk about that because I don't deal with immigration anymore. I deal with financial matters. And for that reason, about a couple days after I was sworn in, I had a visit from Pascal Donahue. Donahue? And Pascal apparently is my counterpart. I don't remember his title, but he does for the Irish government essentially the same thing as I do for the American government. And we came in, and he came in the office for about an hour, and then a young woman from RTE came in, Katrina Perry, I think was her name. And she asked how the meeting went. We talked a little bit about my Irish roots and so forth, how my daughter went to school. By the way, my daughter went to Alexandra College for a semester. She got accepted into Trinity, so if anybody could help me convince her to go, that would be great. With the dollar being what it is now against the euro, it saves me a lot of money. So I'm trying desperately to convince her to take that slot. And Katrina asked me a question towards the end of the interview. And it was a strange question, and I think I gave her an answer she didn't expect, and that's what I want to talk about tonight for just a few minutes. She said, do you expect that the Trump administration is going to work hard to try and get American companies to leave Ireland and come back to the United States? And I was just sitting there and I said, wow, I never really thought about that. And I just looked at her and said, Katrina, I haven't thought about that, but I would assume the answer is yes. I mean, that's what we're going to do. And she looked at me. She had that sort of a sinking look, like, "Oh my goodness!" And I'm like, "No, that's not something to run away from at all." In fact, I think both of the two speakers who came up, all three of the gentlemen who came up already, talked about opportunities and challenges and opportunities, and economic opportunities, economic challenges, and that's what I think you're going to see out of this administration. Keep in mind that when the president ran on what some people perceived as an anti-trade platform, I think he was dramatically misinterpreted. The president is not angered by competition. The president is not angered by free trade. He does not believe that harms America. In fact, quite to the contrary. He's angered by people who don't play by the rules and people who he believes have taken advantage of the United States of America. He tells the story. In fact, he just gave the speech to the joint session of Congress, sort of his pseudo State of the Union. We don't do a State of the Union during the first year of a president's term. And he told the story about Harley Davidson. And there's a company, everybody's familiar with the company, and they cannot sell into many, many developed nations and many developing nations because the tariff on their product is as high as 100%. And we do nothing about that. That's what upsets him. When folks take advantage of the situation in order to benefit their domestic companies and hurt ours. That is not what Ireland has done. In fact, if anything, Ireland has learned the lesson that I think we taught the world during the 1980s and have been beating us at our own game. Under Ronald Reagan, we tried to introduce a tax policy that was pro-business, a regulatory climate that was pro-business, just a general governmental attitude towards pro-business. I spoke to a group of CEOs this morning, the largest CEOs in the country, and one of the CEOs of one of the largest financial services company walked up to me and told me why he was now a Republican instead of a Democrat. And I said, why is that? And he said, because my party, referring to the Democrats, have not said the word capitalism in a positive sense in the last 8 years. And that has changed now with this president. And so what I think you should expect to see is us learning from you. us relearning the lesson that we taught the world, which is that if you want to compete, what do? You try and create an environment where taxes are favorable to business, where regulatory climate is favorable to business, and where just the general attitude of the folks who are overseeing and regulating is much more positive than it has been under various administrations in the last 30 years in the United States of America. I think everybody benefits from that. You've heard the president talk. It doesn't really apply to the Irish situation, because when the president talks about bilateral trades, most people think it's country to country. Obviously, we can't do that with Ireland. We'll end up doing that directly with the EU. But the president very much wants to enter into new trade agreements that simply level the playing field. We welcome that competition. I know that you do, and there are things that you do better than we do. And that is in Western society, that's supposed to found the basis for free trade. You can go back and do what it was at England making linen and Portugal selling wine. And that is the basis for enriching both the nations that engage in trade. We also look forward to increasing the opportunities for direct foreign investment. I know that my president believes in direct foreign investment in Ireland because he's done it. He bought my second favorite golf course in Ireland, as a matter of fact. So for a great price. But he's very proud of that, by the way, the price he paid. And I remember talking to some of the members. I'm a member at Lahinch, and I was talking to some of my friends who were members at Doonbeg, and I said, what do you think, before he was the president, I said, what do you think about Donald Trump buying the golf course? And they just took a very pragmatic approach to it. And they said, we're very excited about it because he runs really, really good golf courses. And he's right. But that's direct foreign investment that you all have encouraged, and you'll be seeing us do the same thing. The hope is this. In fact, I'm confident of this, that what you're going to see is friendly and fair competition, not between adversaries, but between close friends. And everyone benefits from that. And 5 years from now, there will be more things in my house than just Guinness and Kerrygold butter. And there's a lot of both of those, by the way. By the way, I need to speak to, I met the Pope last year for the very first time. And I was talking with a friend of mine. I have a couple of friends in the Irish Senate, and they said, what did you talk to the Pope about? And I said, well, I talked to the Pope about persecution of Christians overseas. And he says, oh, that's not the right topic. That's not the right topic. I said, what's the right topic? He goes, why is St. Patty's Day in the middle of Lent? Was the question that I was supposed to ask the Pope. But I think that's what you're going to see, is the friendly competition between friendly nations. And I think everybody will benefit from that. You folks have benefited from it. We can benefit from it. And to the extent I can help this organization do that, please let me know. To the extent you have ideas that you want to share with the administration, please let me know. Because we want to compete fairly, and we want to reward our friends with fair terms. Ireland does not fall into the same category as other nations, and everybody knows it. We want to have stronger relationships with Ireland, as evidenced by the fact that I'm here tonight when I probably should be home briefing for being just absolutely murdered on television tomorrow morning. So with that, I will thank everybody for having me. Thank you for allowing me to get out of Washington, D.C. I've been there 27 days in a row. I have not seen my family yet. They're coming for St. Patty's Day, which would be nice. But this is a wonderful change of pace, and I very much enjoy the company, very much enjoy the invitation, and hope to be invited back again. Thank you all very much.